All right, man. So I have a lot to talk about, bro. If y'all didn't know by now, it's your boy X once again, and this is a preview on what is to come for series recap. I don't think I'm gonna count this as like my series recap or whatever, or at least as part of the series recap. This is gonna be like unedited, by the way. I'm gonna stop at certain points where I feel like I'm like dragging on too long, but let's talk about the playing, man. So if y'all didn't see my video, I made my video about my predictions for the play-in tournament, and it almost went exactly as I expected. Three of the four teams that I expected to make the playoffs made the playoffs. On the Eastern Conference, they were all blowouts. Okay, they were not entertaining, man. They were simply not entertaining enough. The Eastern Conference, I expected Charlotte to beat Indiana with like all the turmoil Indiana has gone through, but they got absolutely pummeled by the Pacers, bro. Like no cap. LaMelo underperformed. Miles Bridges played well. Let me look at the box score. I'm looking on my NBA app. Give me a sec. All right, man. So I did watch the full game. Cody Zeller and Miles Bridges were like the only two bright spots for the Charlotte Hornets. Miles finished the game with 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block and a steal. He was probably their more consistent player, and then Cody Zeller was probably their more consistent player consistent player off the bench. But the thing is, he got out rebounded by Sabonis. Sabonis had 21 rebounds, bro. And Zeller, who is pretty tall, but he's not as strong. But if you're tall, you gotta grab more than 3 rebounds, bro. Like Terry Rozier, who probably had the most inefficient game of his life, had more rebounds than Cody Zeller, bro. Now, I'm not gonna discuss too much about the Charlotte Hornets. They had a really great season, and I believe they are on par with a team like the 2018-19 Brooklyn Nets, where like with D'Angelo Russell and all those guys, they were a really fun team to watch. And they were really entertaining. Players loved each other. The players got along, and then they were able to make obviously a three-headed monster in Brooklyn, right? And I believe Charlotte with LaMelo Ball and Gordon Hayward, they could absolutely add a third solid star next to them. Maybe get somebody like DeMar DeRozan or something like that, if you know what I'm saying. But I'm not gonna talk too much about them. The Pacers played really well. They had a total of, I'm looking on my app, 8 guys that scored in double figures, with this dude named oh yeah, O'Shea Brissett scoring 23 points. But then the next game after, bro, Indiana absolutely sucked. Like, I mean, the score doesn't look as bad because they did have 115 points, but the thing is, their defense was so bad they allowed 142 points, and Bill didn't even score all that much. Westbrook was 2 rebounds away from a triple double. This Neto dude scored 14 points. I know who he is. He's a casual. He played for the Utah Jazz and the Sixers last year. The Rui kid is pretty good. Daniel Gafford. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a side tangent. Why didn't we get Daniel Gafford and settled for Andre Drummond? We could have easily got Gafford in a trade because his value was low in Chicago. We could have easily gotten Gafford via a trade because he is an energy guy. Like, I know we have Montrez, but Daniel Gafford is another big we can go to while we can start Marc Gasol. We have two bigs to go to in terms of depth. We have Harold Montrez, and then we have Daniel Gafford as well. Both are solid energy guys that can really get the crowd going. Of course, Daniel Gafford is taller and he's a better defender than Montrez. But the Lakers will be all right, though. Speaking of which, the Lakers and the Warriors, bro. Oh my gosh, was that a game? Like, I literally thought we were going to fall down to the 8th seed based on how Golden State was playing. Curry nearly dropped 40, and we're the number one defensive rated team in the league, bro. But when we made our run, Caruso was in the game. Caldwell Pope hit big shots for us. Obviously, LeBron, like, he had 22 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. But there were times where he looked absolutely tentative, and then he hit that fade away three, which is probably the most beautiful shot in NBA history. Oh, I'm sorry. There's Kyrie Irving's game 7, and then the Kawhi's Game 7 shot and Dame shot, but it has to be up there, bro. You can't just hit a three like that, especially when my man was saying that he was seeing three rims, bro. But Anthony Davis, if he wants to be dominant against the Phoenix Suns, bro, he cannot be settling for jumper after jumper, especially since he has size on guys like Jay Crowder, who he just faced in the finals. DeAndre Ayton, like, he's good. I don't know much about him offensively, but even still, I mean, did I say offensively? DeAndre Ayton, I don't know much about him defensively. I just stopped there. So most of this stuff is gonna be unedited takes, and I will stop. Like, you get the whole spiel. But Anthony Davis has to be dominant if the Lakers want a chance against the Suns. Now, I picked Lakers in 6, but I'm not counting out the greatness of CP3 and some of the dogs on their team. And Booker, he's been waiting for this moment. 5 seasons, 5 losing seasons actually, minus their season where they were basically undefeated in the bubble. I guess you can count that as not a losing season, but still, I think he's ready for the playoffs. It's just a matter of time if, or I don't know, bro. I do believe he's ready, but can he score on our defense? Okay, that dragged on way longer than it needed to, but I'm gonna go back to talking about the Warriors and Lakers, bro. Um, I was watching the game. We had every reason to lose that game. No cap. The way Golden State was playing, the way Steph was hitting big shots, Andrew Wiggins was pretty dang good. Bazemore hit a couple good shots. Jordan Poole, who's going to be a key piece for them next year, hit big shots. Toscano Anderson hit big shots. And we were kind of playing like mid tier. And then the last 5-6 minutes, we started to turn on the Jets, as the great Chris Move would say. I'm like kind of all over the place with like the thoughts on the play-in tournament, because these are supposed to be my thoughts, but I'm just like recapping the play-in tournament. And I guess I'm kind of saying my thoughts, but I guess you guys want me to focus on the games themselves, which is what I should be doing actually. But going back to the Tuesday schedule, it was the Wizards versus the Celtics that also played the same day. Uh, Indiana and Charlotte were playing. I don't know why I stuttered. But Washington played poorly in that game. They really did. And Jason Tatum dropped 50. And obviously, he was the main reason why they won. But after Washington was up 7, I felt like they really gave the game away. I didn't watch the rest of the game because, number one, I honestly thought they were going to win because of how they played in the first half. But I also had class that same night too, so I had to miss the rest of the game. Westbrook and Beal were not horrible, I guess. Ish Smith played well. Daniel Gafford again played well. But again, they all stepped up in the game against the Indiana Pacers. So now that I just basically spewed out all my thoughts and some of the most random thoughts in the world, bro, um, let me just say the Eastern Conference was probably the most disappointing because, again, all the games are blowouts. And yeah, the teams did fight at a level, but the damage was already done. And the teams that were like down big, you feel me? They were just all doing damage control. They were seeing if they could get a big shot here, a big shot there. But like, for example, the Charlotte Indiana game, Indiana just kept pouring on, and then it's the same thing with Washington and Indiana. Now, the Grizzlies, man. The Grizzlies, they ain't a beast to mess with, bro. I know they're young and they were eliminated in the playing game last year by Damian Lillard and the Blazers, but oh man, the Grizzlies, bro, they are not something to mess with. They what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I don't know why I had a brain fart there, but Memphis played really well against the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, the San Antonio Spurs did fall hard, but DeMar DeRozan actually had one of the worst shooting performances of his career. Rudy Gay was probably their most consistent player, despite him and DeMar shooting the same shots and Rudy Gay making 3 more field goals than DeMar DeRozan. But still, the Spurs played well and their defense was pretty good on Memphis. It's just that Memphis, it was just their night. And it's the same thing with the game I just watched with the Grizzlies Warriors game. Everybody in the basketball planet, bro, except for that one lady that the Grizzlies shouted out on their Instagram page, bro. But everybody in the basketball planet was rooting for the Golden State Warriors to win. I being one of them. And I was watching this game, and dude, they were so tentative with the ball. They were making sloppy passes. They were turning the ball over. They were missing shots that they would normally make, and they were missing shots that were wide open. Like Andrew Wiggins, I know he had 22 points, but he shot 10 for 22 and only made 1 3. He had 4 looks from or 4 attempts from 3, and all 4 of them were not horrible looks. But the 4 3 he took was the one he badly bricked, and I was like, what the hell are you doing, man? Jordan Poole was nice, though. Jordan Poole, he's going to be a key player for the Golden State Warriors next year. Scoring 19 points. He scored 10 the last game, but I think ESPN stat did this during the Grizzlies Warriors game last Sunday. Or was it that game? I don't know. But they said something about since Curry was out, Jordan Poole would average 17.5 on really good efficiency in that stretch. He gonna be key for the Warriors next year, bro. But I was watching this game, and my God, man, I was so mad with how the Warriors were playing. Now, eventually, they did take the lead in overtime, but one play that did piss me off in that game, bro, was the final possession in the fourth quarter where Draymond Green looked to pass the ball instead of win the game right then and there. It was right there. He had a floater that he would have made if this were like the Big Three Warriors. If this was 2016 Game 7 Draymond Green, he would have made that floater with no problem. But because of the fact that he was passive and tentative, he badly bricked the floater. And my man Ja Morant, oh my gosh. Ja Morant, he gonna get paid big, bro. 5 of 10 from 3, 35 points. And yo, there's this dude on the Memphis Grizzlies roster that has the same initials as me, named Xavier Tillman. I call him X, and because I go by X, and that's what y'all call me. X hit a big 3 that I think put the Grizzlies up by 1, and that was one of many daggers right there. But the sad part is in this game, though, and again, this is just me spewing out all my thoughts. Steph Curry was being double teamed, and there was really no other guy to take the pressure off Curry. Yeah, Wiggins had 22 points and Jordan Poole had 19. But really, those were guys that the Memphis Grizzlies were going to live with. And the Memphis Grizzlies played really great defense on Steph Curry, man. They really did. But I think that's all I had to talk about in terms of like the playing games. Um, Overall, if you guys are asking for my thoughts, I really thought the playing games were good. I know the the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference was really disappointing. But overall, I think Adam Silver is making the right decision to keep it. And it turned out to be a huge success. Now, a lot of people and players spoke out on this and saying how much they disagree with it, and to a certain extent, I can see why. But we have to remember the NFL and the NBA. I mean, God damn, this is what happens, bro, when I do shit unscripted. But let's keep in mind the NFL and the MLB have wild card games, which is basically a battle for the 8th seed in those sports. And the reason why I love this playing tournament, and I discussed it in my announcement video, is because it or no, I actually didn't talk about it, but I'll explain it here. Fuck it. The reason why I love the playing tournament is because it gives teams chances to be competitive in the regular season. Like, okay, let's put it this way. There were a total of 4 teams that could have made the play-in tournament. Chicago being one of them in the Eastern Conference, the Toronto Raptors, arguably too, even though their record was 27-45. They were not too far out of the play-in tournament. And then if you have the Western, or you look at the Western Conference, pardon me, uh, you had the Pelicans and the Kings, who were just 2 wins behind San Antonio. So New Orleans and the Sacktown Kings could have arguably made the play-in tournament. So that really just goes to show you that, the NBA wants to make the regular season more competitive. They want teams to value the regular season because ain't no way, with the exception of teams like the OKC Thunder, the Houston Rockets, and the Detroit Pistons, ain't no way teams are going to be tanking for like a. Now I know the season is long, but we gotta keep in mind the MLB has wild card games and they have 162 games. The NFL, I do understand why they have playing games because it's like 16 games and just like one game can actually hurt a team's chances. Whereas like the NBA, they have like 72 games or in the regular season 82 games because they think, oh, we're gonna make the playoffs anyway, so why not take a few regular season games off? Granted, that still happens, but if we put it this way, bro, it gives a lot of teams a chance to at least play for something. Or for like the eighth seed, ninth seed, and 10th seeded teams, you feel me? They can play like they have nothing to lose. Because obviously they ain't contending for a chip this year, unless you're the Los Angeles Lakers. But I can absolutely guarantee y'all that once this rule gets implemented next year, I bet you can see a whole lot less of tanking and a lot more teams being competitive. Because like I said, Toronto, Chicago, New Orleans, and the Sacktown Kings, they arguably had a chance to make the play in. Again, this vid, I'm like dragging my thoughts more than I need to. But like I said, this is not the official series recap. This is just more me spewing my thoughts about the play-in tournament. And this is just like a preview of what's to come. So next episode, or the first episode of the series recap, I'm going to be a lot more focused and I'm actually going to talk about the series and uh, just not rambling some random bullshit thoughts in my head. It might be unedited too, because I kind of do filter myself, but it's whatever, man. But yeah, I really like the play-in tournament. I really hope they do this in the future, which I have a feeling they will. Um, man, I still can't get over the Warriors losing like that, bro. I really can't, especially since they had like a billion chances to win that damn game, bro. Like, it had they hit a few shots here and there, they could have absolutely win the game, but they did not. Now Memphis has to play the Utah Jazz, which I don't doubt that's going to be a competitive series, bro. That's going to be a really competitive series. Two teams that are considered underdogs, actually, but those two teams are full of fighters and full of scrappers. And hey, man, Mike Conley's going to be going back home to face his old team in the playoffs. And he has not been to the playoffs. Or actually, he made the playoffs last year. But if y'all were to tell him that he's going to be facing his old team in the playoffs, he would be saying to y'all that, man, you guys are tripping. But then again, I'm not Mike Conley, so who knows? But yeah, man, the play-in tournament was great. I absolutely loved every minute of it. The crowd energy was unbelievably great. Like, I might make a separate video. Actually, no, I'm just going to discuss it here. It beats the bubble by a whole lot because y'all got to look at it this way, bro. In terms of like the crowd energy, we didn't get any of that in the bubble. Lou Williams said it best that the players were the ones that had to manifest the energy. And honestly, it took a toll on some players' mental health. And that is understandable. Like you're isolated in one place for like a month if you're some teams, uh, 3 months if you're teams like the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat. But in terms of like the energy in the games, yeah, we had the close games. We had the OG game winner. We had the Jimmy Butler performance in game 5 where he had like a 40-point triple double, yada, yada, yada. But you just did not feel the excitement because the fans were not there. In the Memphis game, bro, it felt like it was a goddamn full house, my man. Like, it felt like I was watching the 2013 Grizzlies where they had that extremely loud crowd. You know what I'm saying? They had, it sounded like a madhouse. Same with the Laker game. That sounded like a madhouse. The Warriors Grizzlies game, bro, that sounded like a madhouse. So yeah, I love the play-in tournament, especially this year, because with like fans coming back in, like the virus and such, and people getting vaccinated and all that. Be sure to get y'all vaccines, by the way. They are going to be really important if we want to return back to normal life. But the crowd energy was great, man, and I really can't wait for the playoffs. It's going to be competitive. It's going to be really fun. And like I said, for the first episode series recap, I will be a lot more focused and not just spewing random thoughts about the playing tournament and just spewing random thoughts, period. So, yeah, man, that is the end of this video. I really can't wait to do series recap. This right here is just a preview, and this may be 20 minutes with like 15 minutes being worth of filler, but really, I don't give a shit. This is going to be in the format of Kenny Faria and also Rusty Buckets, who do the same thing, except in this particular episode, I'm just spitting out random thoughts. I don't know how many times I gotta say it, but you guys get the spiel. But anyways, man, like, comment, and subscribe, and or do whatever the hell you want. And if you don't want to like, comment, subscribe, I still love you. You're a human at the end of the day, and you have choices, and that's the beauty of this country. We have freedom of speech and all of that. But I still love you as a human and as a person, even if you don't want to subscribe. But if you want to, please leave a like, and I said that already. Man, this is gonna be a whole lot filler in this video. But anyways, yeah, that's the end of this video. I'm X Deuces. Series recap, episode 1 coming soon.